movies. I mean, you say you're gonna go to Texas and you just immediately get a hotel room and start having sex?
It's because when we was in high school, we couldn't do what we wanted. And it's like when I saw him, it was like old feelings, arrived.
Ms. Tucker and her son, Mr. Riley, say that Ms. Riley has admitted to being unfaithful and was intimate with 2 different men around the conception period. This means they are not confident that the baby in question belongs to Mr. Riley. Here is how it starts out.
Wife lies and cheats, and
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
here hoping to put an end to their marriage.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Mrs. Riley, you admit to having a one-night stand with one father as well as a month-long affair with another man.
Wow, that is a crazy way to start out your testimony. Ms. Tucker is so sure that Ms. Riley isn't the right person for her son, and she will do everything she can to make sure they get divorced. But Mrs. Riley has a few things to say about that.
I ain't married to her, I'm married to my husband, James Riley.
And he's still my son and will be my son to the
And
day
he's
I
still
die.
my husband. I'm not going nowhere.
So,
death do us
Ms. Tucker,
get through.
what is it that you see going on in their marriage that causes so much concern?
The incident with the whole baby thing, she's the one that told me.
Hold up, wait a minute. What did she mean by she went to an ultrasound with her husband and her boyfriend? What? That does not even make any sense. Why would her husband do that? Let's get more details.
You went to an ultrasound
Yes,
appointment
he did.
during
He
your
knew the
pregnancy?
whole time. So I don't see why she's here trying to break us apart. She don't need to be here. This ain't her
So
house.
in
She's
your
seen my
statement,
kids
you
one
so
time.
Ms. Riley,
And that's my
in your
husband.
statement, you admitted to a one-night stand. So
Yes, I
tell
did.
me what happened.
What happened? Me and him was fighting.
Well, he wasn't that ugly then, was he? I wonder how Mr. Riley feels about his wife admitting in open court that some ugly dude that she didn't like was the best time of her life. That is the sort of thing that can break a man's mind, and it gets worse. Of course it does, because here is that ugly dude with his own statement.
I first met her, I wasn't really attracted to her or anything like that. I had a one-night stand with her is because that night, we were partying and, got a little messed up, and then things started leading to one thing to another. After I messed around with her, she texts my friend like every day, wanting to hang out. I still text her for a little bit, but she started getting like stalker. And I found out she was married after I messed around with her, and I'm like, I can't do that. First she's a married woman.
What? This is crazy. First she called him ugly, and now he reveals that he thinks she is ugly too. And she used to actually stalk him and call up his family members? So we know about the one-night stand. How about the boyfriend? Let's see.
I thought everything was gonna be better. He kept telling me that we're working on our marriage, he'll treat me right. Again, things kept escalating. I stayed with the boyfriend at a hotel for 2 weeks. It was
So
great.
you said you were at a hotel for 2 weeks.
I left my husband for the boy. I kept telling the boyfriend I miss my husband. I want to be with him. That's who I've been with for.
This is the craziest story ever. They became friends? What do you mean they became friends? Like they became buddies? What? Imagine becoming your wife's boyfriend's friend? That is insane, and it gets even worse.
Ms. Riley, how long did you live at your marital home with your boyfriend and your husband?
About a month.
She was sleeping with them both.
You slept with them both during that time?
Yes, I will admit to that because I was confused.
Wait, what does she mean by she was confused? Does she mean she didn't know which one of the 2 men was her husband? Maybe they really looked alike, so she was jumping into the boyfriend's bed thinking he was her husband? What did Mr. Riley think about all of this?
One night she'd sleep with him on the couch, and then the next night she'd
They
be like,
both
I'm with
knew.
you, and then she'd sleep in the bed with me.
Yeah.
They both knew. I never
So
lied about
now-
anything.
I actually caught them having sex on the floor while I was at work.
While he was at work, the other one. Yes.
I got off an hour early, and I felt gut feeling, and the blinds was shut. I come in, and
That is how he finds out she was pregnant? You see, now I get why his mother is so involved in this case, because it does not look like Mr. Riley has any steel in him. He is just doing whatever Mrs. Riley wants him to do. Anyway, let's talk about this baby.
Obviously
right
you don't.
here.
Obviously you
of the
don't.
calendar. If you look by the date, it's James.
Ooh, let's go by the date.
All right,
Chad was-
Jerome, can
Chad
you
was
please
before
hand me
I
this
got
calendar?
pregnant.
Baby don't look
that
nothing
baby
like
looks
you.
just like
That baby
him.
don't
You
look
got a
nothing
baby
like
picture
you.
of James?
Sure do.
You got a baby picture?
Sure
that
do.
baby look dead on
No, he don't
him.
look
And
dead
my
on.
baby
No,
is
he does
beautiful.
not look.
Sorry, Miss Tucker, that baby does kind of look like Mr. Riley. Seriously, the baby is even kind of bald already. But that is just my opinion. It is time to get the DNA test results and see what they say.
Mr. Schaefer, the man Mrs. Riley had a one-night stand with, is not the father. Let's go to the next result. Jerome, do you have the envelope, please? Mr. Riley, you are not the father.
That's okay. He'll still
Oh,
be
really?
the dad no
It's
matter
okay.
what.
Yeah. 4.
You don't know.
Let's
Ms. Galloway got pregnant with her first kid at 14, but she insists that despite her young start, she knows all the fathers of her kids. Now she says that Mr. Harris is the father of her 9-month-old kids, and here is what Mr. Harris thinks about that.
Who first became a father at the age of 12, going on 13. Although that child was yours, you're certain that Miss Galloway's twins are not.
Yes, Your Honor.
You all got started having babies way too young. How did you get together?
Well, Your Honor, actually it wasn't a relationship, Your Honor. It was just one night stands and here and there pleasurable moments, to be honest, Your Honor.
And that is how it begins. One day, he is helping you with your groceries, and another day, the both of you are in paternity court having a dispute over whether he is the father of your twin kids. So how did this even go down anyway?
And he said, so when you gonna let me in the house? I said, what you talking about? He said, when you gonna let me come over? I said, the only time you're gonna come over is if we're having a Bible study. Okay, so, as time goes by, I do occasionally see him in the churches playing or whatever, so, I do start conversating with him.
Wait, what? Am I getting this correctly? So Mr. Harris and Ms. Galloway just took a walk, found an opened van in the middle of nowhere, and then had intimate relations in the van? No way. There must be something else. Here is what Ms. Galloway thinks.
He didn't touch me or
Over
anything that
45
night, so,
minutes.
I felt comfortable, like everything was gonna be okay. So, the next morning is when, I'm waking up, I'm feeling him,
Okay,
That's not true.
go past that part.
Okay, so, we end up getting involved. We did get involved in that van the next morning because, that night, I felt comfortable with it. I felt like it was okay or whatever.
You met him in church.
Yes.
This is just messy. So they didn't sleep together in the van that night, they just slept together the next morning. Yeah, that makes it all dandy, and you have got to remember that Mr. Harris knew the dude that Ms. Galloway was seeing at the time. And you know it. It gets worse.
45 minutes?
You mean 4 to
And
5
saying-
minutes?
you saying
'Cause it was
30
not no 4 to
oh,
5
okay.
minutes.
Well, it was long enough to potentially produce 2 beautiful babies.
That was just the first occasion. There was actually another occasion because, after the first time of, it only being that short, maybe he could, do a little something more. So maybe, that short period of time wasn't all
Was
he
he
had.
auditioning?
No.
You know what? It seems like Ms. Galloway is more interested in telling the world that Mr. Harris cannot hold it up for too long. She hasn't even spoken about her kids yet. Anyway, here is what happened when she eventually found out she was pregnant.
What do you say? What do you tell him?
Okay, so January 18th is when I took the home pregnancy test. And that's when I sent him the text message and the pictures. Now, right after that, I went to the emergency room and she said that you have 2 babies. And I'm like, okay, 2 babies, you got the wrong person. She was like, no, this is you. You're 10 weeks long now. And this is 2 babies right here I see.
This is insane. Mr. Harris says he wasn't even informed that he might be the father of the kids till they were born, and he got informed through a Facebook post where his face was matched with the newborn twins? Really, Ms. Galloway? But she has an excuse for doing that. Let's see what she has to say.
Right after I told him that I was having twins, shortly after, he ended up leaving Florida. And
I had to
he
leave
stopped
'cause you
calling-
slandered all- you
Look,
cost
he
me all
stopped
my
calling
work.
like he used to, and she's not here today as a witness, but the lady that I stay with
She don't even
saw
like
everything
me.
that happened. She was the one who was listening to the phone calls. She was like, I don't know why you're doing this. And even a friend, Lonnie, was telling me you don't want
Your
to.
ex-boyfriend that you was with before you was with me?
You don't want to. That's a lie.
Whoa! So Mr. Harris insists that Ms. Galloway is no innocent goody-two-shoes lady. He says that she was sleeping with a fellow musician while she dated him, and that is the real tea. The good news is that this other dude is in court today. Anyway, let us see what Ms. Galloway has to say about these heavy accusations.
Miss
Not at the
Galloway,
same
during the period of
No,
conception.
no. I was only talking to him. That's why I said she's
wasn't
not here 'cause she's
talking.
working.
No, that's what
Text
y'all
messages.
should have been doing, was just talking.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
You have no doubt in
No
your
doubt.
mind.
Not at all. Not at all. Because during this time, like I said,
Did you sleep with Mr. Samuels too?
No.
So it is clear now. Ms. Galloway insists that she did not sleep with Mr. Samuels during this period and only slept with Mr. Harris. That is what is called a definitive claim. Let us see what Mr. Harris thinks about that claim.
You told
never
me out
used
this. You told me out your own mouth. Just like the
He is
boyfriend
lying.
you had before you met me and had sex with me. You was
You
talking
are trying
that
to
was a
throw up
musician.
everything that you can.
It ain't no case. You only want child support.
Are you serious?
Your Honor,
Your Honor,
I
2
know my
weeks
proof
after
and my
he
facts,
had
Your
that,
Honor.
not even 2 weeks
These-
after he had
Your
the
Honor.
pictures on Facebook, he
First
took
of
the
all,
pictures
Your Honor,
down.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to claiming, I'm far from dead because I take care of anything I make. I went on and did my research.
Now we have an argument. Mr. Harris insists that he cannot be the father of the kids because Ms. Galloway didn't even put his name on the birth certificate and they don't have his last name. He says this means she isn't even sure he is the father, and it gets more complicated with Mr. Samuel's testimony.
No, ma'am, I am not the father of the twins. Look at them, y'all know. Come on now, look at him, look at the babies. Think about it. Ray is known as being a hoe.
Okay, let's speak respectfully. Say it nicely.
I'm sorry, y'all know. Okay, well, he's known for being a dog.
I'm a dog. What are you? Your wife know you here right now?
Okay.
Your wife even know you down here right now.
Okay, we had the same past.
Oh, wow. It is settled now, isn't it? Ms. Galloway insists that there is absolutely no other possibility, so Mr. Harris has got to be the father of the kids. Let us see if the DNA test has anything at all to say about that.
Mr. Samuel, you are not the father. Mr. Harris, you are the twins' father. Well, my research says that you're in fact the biological father. How many children do you have?
It's 9, Your Honor.
9 children.
Mr. Dansby says Ms. Simpson was sleeping with another man at the time she conceived her child, so he knows for sure that the baby she has cannot belong to him. Here is how that starts out.
Why is it it's taking you 3 years to petition the court for a DNA test?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
The reason why it took 3 years, ma'am, because Miss Simpson, she had been lying to me. It was so much shade. She had another dude who she was dealing with. I mean, it was one particular morning I had caught.
No, what it was that I had been trying to get you to do a DNA test, but you chose to run.
Okay, seems like there is a lot of blame to go around. Mr. Dansby says he has not been allowed to see the kid, and Ms. Simpson says she hasn't been able to find him. Clearly someone is lying, but that isn't real our business. We are here to find out the father of the kid, so let us get on with it.
What effort have you made to try to get the DNA test done?
Well, Your Honor, it was times where I had reached out to Miss Simpson. I had got in contact with Miss Simpson through phone, and it was so much as my son. Why haven't you brought the kid around me?
All right.
Why should I have to bring you down?
I want to understand this relationship more, and I can see right now, nobody made enough of an effort to get a DNA test, but that's why you're here today.
And if that ain't nothing but the gospel truth, both of these adults have dragged their feet on this issue for so long because they are probably scared of what the answer could be. The good news is that they are getting that answer today. So how did this relationship begin?
How did it start?
Man, we met through a mutual friend. She moved me into her home where she was staying there with her other 2 kids. Miss Simpson had another man who she was dealing with.
When you met her, explain.
Okay, what happened was it was one particular school morning. I was getting her kids ready for school. Okay, I got them on the school bus. Miss Simpson was taking a shower that morning. I just so happened caught the phone call. It was another dude. He was shocked to hear me.
I don't recall of that phone call.
Later on, I had talked to Miss Simpson about the strange phone call, and she told me that it was the dude that was paying her phone bill.
No.
Hold up. Did Mr. Dansby just say he moved in with her and her other 2 kids from another relationship? Come on now. That is just reckless. If you don't want to get another kid, you don't allow a man move in with you and your other kids. Anyway, Ms. Simpson says he is lying and that she recalls none of it. But how does she know that if she does not recall?
That's how I know he's lying, because I don't recall of it. If it was the truth, I would remember it.
That man told me that you was his lady. Point blank.
How
and I asked you about
this lady and you will stand with me. If that's the case, why would I have
Mr. Dansby, the man told you that she was his lady?
Yes.
And then what did you say?
No.
I spoke with her about it. I thought he heard.
So you all just hung up. After that, you hung up, and then that's when you had the conversation with her.
Yes.
All right. So at that point, you were on notice. There was
another man.
You knew there was some man in the picture in your mind.
Exactly.
So Mr. Dansby had his doubts from the beginning, but he didn't let Ms. Simpson know that because he wanted to help her save face. So she thought that they were a couple having a baby. Turns out it wasn't going to be that simple, because Ms. Simpson then told Mr. Dansby something really shocking.
When did she say this?
Okay, and that
This was like, it was in 3 months before he was even born.
It was not 3 months. It was not 3 months.
Hold on. I want to understand this. Get me to this conversation 3 months before the baby was even born, where you say she told you the baby wasn't even yours.
I asked. We was talking over the phone, and she somewhat got an attitude with me about the situation. About
yes,
the
I did. I sure
you know what I'm
did.
saying? Because she had told me
who want to deal with somebody's child?
So you got into an argument.
We got into an argument
and
about
she said
that Tanara wasn't none of my child.
And there you have it, folks. Once you tell a man a kid isn't his, you can forget it. He's going to keep thinking the child isn't his until he sees some real-life evidence to the contrary. So why did she even say that in the first place?
Why did you say that?
Because I don't want to deal with that childish with him. I would rather sit here and go through it by myself than be stressed out about whether or not he's going to play a part in my child's life.
You had another man. I mean,
you keep bringing up another man.
Miss Simpson, were you with anyone else? Were you sleeping with anyone else?
It was a possibility of someone else. So
you admit there was another man?
Yes, Your Honor, it was.
At what point did you admit to Mr. Dansby that there was another man?
It was maybe 3 months into the pregnancy.
Wow, so Mr. Dansby actually had a point. There is a possibility that the child isn't his, so why didn't Ms. Simpson say something? But this story is about to get even more interesting.
This is my timeline.
Outlines all of the lies. Walk me through this. I want to understand
everything. We met through a friend.
Okay. In November 2011, that's when you got the old man phone call.
Yes, I got the phone call from the old dude. And he was shocked to hear me just like I was shocked to hear from him.
All right.
Okay.
And then moving forward, she announces the pregnancy.
Yes, she announced that. She told everyone she was pregnant. I had my doubts about it, about her being
so
pregnant.
You were doubtful again and felt like there was something shady going on then too?
Yes, it was a lot of shade going on with me.
That is a lot to take in. There was another man at the hospital when she gave birth, and she was sleeping with another man about the time she conceived. What other secrets could Ms. Simpson be hiding from us? Let's find out.
I feel like if she's so confident about this, my son, why it took 3 years for me to see Tanara's?
Okay, but I got evidence that.
Okay, we did.
You
take
put
a
on
picture.
Facebook. You put on.
What is that evidence, ma'am?
It is a picture of him and Tanara's where he says that.
Ron, will you hand that to me, please? This is a picture of
me and Tanara.
Yes,
Mr. Dansby and Tanara.
That was my first time ever seeing Tanara that same day. My family members, they seen
Tanara. But
Tanara.
if you didn't think he was yours, why would you say?
Oh, so Mr. Dansby didn't always feel this way. He even posted a picture with the little boy and gave it a lovely caption. So what changed his mind? Why is he so certain now that the baby isn't his? What happened? Why didn't Mr. Dansby go on to meet his child?
Since this picture and you met Tanara's, have you stepped up to help support him?
I mean, yes, I've been supporting Tanara's. Yes.
How? Child support?
Yeah, child support.
Okay, and that just started
but it's not about the money. I need to bond with this. I need to bond with him if he's my son.
Okay.
Wait, this is crazy. If he is already paying for child support, why can't he bond with the baby? Ms. Simpson is being really shifty here. Anyway, it is time to see what the test results say. Who is the father of this baby?
Mr. Dansby, you are Tanara's father.
Thank you.
I've said it this been many days, and I've asked men to enumerate. Tell me what your doubt is and what it's based on.
Mr. Brown currently has full custody of his child, 18-month-old child, but he's found out that there is a very real possibility that the child isn't his, and that is what he is in court today to find out. Here is how it begins.
Drag Miss Stewart to court to prove that you are Colby's father because you fear if you are not, you will lose him for good.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Stewart, you admit you kept the secret from Mr. Brown but claim the truth is the truth. And the fact is you were secretly cheating on him and you appear in court today to prove that the other man is the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
This might be the most emotionally draining case ever on paternity court. This man loves his child enough to fight for full custody and get it. That is insane if you know how difficult it is for men to get full custody. But now that he has it, there is now a possibility that he isn't the baby's father. This will be a wild ride for sure.
My whole entire family knows him as theirs. I have 2 grandmas that have Alzheimer's that know him as their grandsons. My 14-year-old son knows him as his little brother. My house is a more stable home for him. It's a place where he's taken care of, and I know it's the better thing for him.
Well, that is correct. That is nothing to a mom, but fathers getting full custody is very rare. So I am going to go out on a limb here and say Ms. Stewart probably isn't in the best shape to raise this kid. Anyway, how did Mr. Brown even find out that the kid might not be his?
Well, because after she moved out, she asked me if I wanted him for a couple days while she was moving her things out. She called to tell me when she was coming, and I told her that I wasn't going to give him back at that point in time because I knew what my rights were. I knew that the living situations at my household
Yeah, and I have a right to see my son.
Wow. So she was the one who involved the cops. And still she didn't get the baby? Her living conditions must be extremely rough. But Mr. Brown isn't done. He has more insane details to drop about this case.
So what happened when she brought the police to your house?
You know, by that time, I'd already talked to one district attorney and 3 police officers who told me the same thing that I already knew, that by law, I did not have to give him back due to the fact I signed the paternity affidavit. I was on the birth certificate, and the cop that she brought was probably the only one on the force she could get to side with her, and he came and told me it was in my best judgment that I give the child back.
There are very few fathers who come into paternity court who would stand up for their right to their kids like this. Mr. Brown is definitely not the regular sort of guy. So what happened after that?
You were trying to take my son away from me, and that's what you did, exactly. Rip my son from my life, from my home. And when the results are say that you are not the father, I am leaving today with my son. That is guaranteed.
You're so confident.
Wait, are there 2 potential fathers? Wow. Ms. Stewart was really getting her freak on while she was with Mr. Brown. But let us get into the details of their relationship. How did they even get into this mess?
She lived in my household for over 3 years and mooched off my family.
No, I never mooched off your family. It's more like your family was given to me. They're being generous.
Miss Stewart, why did you wait so long to tell him? Like, why not tell him before so he would have never had the child in the first place?
What? The fact that she is able to lay out her motivations so coldy is crazy. She suspected from the beginning that the child didn't belong to him but decided to continue lying because he was a good man from a good family. So what changed? Let's see.
So you broke up and then he wanted custody.
Yes.
So if you had stayed in the relationship, would you have ever told him that this may not be his child?
No, because I honestly, because being with a good man like Mr. Brown.
Same thing.
Is this that you don't believe he's the father, or you're just unhappy that you broke up and he took the child?
This is one cold woman. The only reason she is bringing it up now is because he wants custody of the child, because she doesn't have a great living situation. This is the sort of heartless move you see in movies, and she did something even worse.
Now, you're saying he's not the child's biological father, and you know that for certain,
Yes.
and yet you filed to try to get him to pay child support? How does he get an open case?
I don't know, Your Honor. I'm not even quite sure. I don't understand that. But I never went and I never told them that he was a father and that I wanted child support from him, because I even told DHS and the child support recovery that I did not want any money from him.
What a case. Anyway, Mr. Brown's girlfriend is in court, and she will be telling us what she knows about this case. Of course, Ms. Stewart hates Mr. Brown's girlfriend because, well, she's taken her place, and that hate is pretty obvious.
This is between me and Mr. Brown, not me and Miss Teskey and Mr. Brown.
Well, Miss Teskey takes care of your son, you don't.
Yeah, and Miss Teskey ain't supposed to be around our son.
Okay, all right, now I know what it's about. Moving
That's
forward.
why Miss Teskey is supposed to be around me, Billy Andre
Moving
JT.
forward.
Yeah.
Moving forward. So, Miss
That's why she
Teskey,
got her own
what
son.
do you have to add? What do you know about this situation?
Gosh, this just gets worse the longer it goes on. But how does this even work? Does Miss Stewart get any benefits for having the kid even though she does not actually have the kid? Apparently she does.
Your Honor, she's still getting all kinds of benefits for Kobe, and she doesn't even have him.
That then sheds some light on why they would be coming after Mr. Brown for child support. If you're receiving some type of state assistance, they want their money back.
I am going to be real with Mr. Brown here. It does not look like this kid is his kid, because Ms. Stewart looks like the sort of cold, conniving woman who wouldn't do this if she were not absolutely sure. Anyway, let's see who the father of the baby is.
Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
I told you. I told you.
Mr. Brown, you need to sit down. You need to take a seat.
Mr. Thompson says he hopes his 11-month-old is his baby, but his doubts are overwhelming. Mrs. Thompson also hopes that the baby is his, but knows that there is a possibility he isn't. And here is how it begins.
It's rocky, you know. We don't sleep in the same bedroom. We haven't slept in the same bedroom in years. We haven't had sex probably in about 7-8 months, you know. And it's just, you know, she don't like to cook, she don't like to clean, she don't like to work. So it's a lot going on other than Micah. So it's, You know, like I said, every marriage is not perfect, but it's a lot going on.
You want this baby to be your biological child, but you truly doubt.
That is admirable. No matter what happens here today, Mr. Thompson wants to be there for this kid and show him all the love he can get. But why are they even here in the first place? Where does the paternity doubt come from?
We met in college. We had a class together, and he sat behind me, cracking jokes, trying to copy off my tests. Next thing you know, we were talking and we were together in a relationship. And it was good. We were inseparable. You couldn't see him without seeing me.
I mean, that just sounds storybook. It does. So, Mr. Thompson, the bottom line is you met and you were very happy together.
Oh, a ghetto wedding? That is one way to put it. Ms. Thompson says it was a hood love story, and that just warms your heart. But this love story must have turned sour some way down the line. How did that happen?
Found out she was doing some things that she shouldn't have been doing. Text messaging, meeting up with guys and stuff like that. So when I confronted her, she said it wasn't true. So when she said it wasn't true, I found out otherwise. I had to get a DNA test on my first two boys by her. We married, but every time while we're in a marriage and every time you get pregnant, I gotta get a DNA test.
I was gonna ask the same question.
You know, I don't understand.
Oh, so she's had 2 boys and he's had paternity doubts for both of them? That is crazy. And now he has paternity doubts for the 3rd time? At this point, should he not be thinking of a divorce? But he still wants to make it work. Good for him. Let us hear what Ms. Thompson has to say for herself.
When I left, she said she was gonna work on herself. Me and her had ample conversations.
While he was with somebody else.
About her working on herself. She was working on herself because she deleted me off social media. I found out she started adding all these other dudes to her social media page.
Because you were gone. You were living with somebody else.
Were you living with somebody else, Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, I was.
So why shouldn't she move on?
She didn't want to move on. She said she was gonna work on.
Yeah, it is one of those relationships. So Mr. Thompson got fed up with his wife and moved out to go and live with someone else. Then he got angry when his wife tried to move on as well. That sounds a little unfair, but the details get worse.
He left and I found out that he was staying with somebody else and they were supposed to be in a relationship. I printed up the divorce papers myself.
That's after I left her for the 3rd time.
All right, so this relationship definitely is in trouble.
Yeah, Mr. Thompson is correct. Something happened that night. Mr. Thompson didn't really have proof, but he knew something was up. Now, did Ms. Thompson admit that she traveled to go and cheat? Let's see what she has to say.
Well, I already knew what she was going to do. I didn't have no proof, but I knew what she was going to do. Now,
is that what you were going to do, Ms. Thompson?
I can't even lie about it. Yeah, it was.
Now that's the first time she admitted that.
Well, that's what we do in this courtroom. We get to the truth. So now we know.
Okay, going one time was bad enough. But going back again after 2 weeks? Now she is just daring Mr. Thompson and forcing his hand. However, this time he was serious with it and decided to compile some evidence.
The one Atlanta phone number that keep popping up, and I researched the phone number and it's coming back to a gentleman. So when she finally called me, I'm like, okay, Toya, so what you out there doing? I was like, so I'm looking at the phone bill and this one Atlanta number keep popping up and it's from a male. She was like, one of my friends. Yeah, it's a male. So I was like, so that's who you out there with? She was like, nah. Now mind you, I'm sitting on the couch with my kids watching TV. Every car they just driving by, they jumping up. Is that mom? Is that mom? They waiting on her to come home.
Phew. Both of them are really messed up, and the fact that they have kids in this mess is just insane. You see, Ms. Thompson admits that she isn't a saint, but she says that neither is Mr. Thompson, and here is how she proves that.
And he failed to mention while he was doing all that research trying to figure out who I was talking to, he failed to tell anybody that he was engaged to this girl.
What?
While he was still married. And
what?
And it's on her Facebook, so he can't even lie about it.
You asked another girl to marry you while you're still married to your wife?
I did.
Now, see, he never admitted that. When I asked him about it, how could I be engaged? I'm still married.
Wow. Okay, is there a way the kid can belong to neither of these people? Because this doesn't seem like the right kind of situation for any kid to be born into. Anyway, let us find out who is the real father of this child, Mr. Thompson or some other man.
Mr. Thompson, you are not the father. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, sir. How are you feeling in this moment?
I had already accepted the situation. When I knew he wasn't, is to actually know he's not mad, it just hurts a little bit more. The other dude don't want nothing to do with him, but like I said, I can't let another child grow up without a father.
Mr. King is 1,000% certain he is the father of Ms. Holmes' 10-year-old child. She told him he was the father when she had the baby, but now she insists that the baby belongs to another man. Here is how it starts out.
Ms. Holmes, you admit you led Mr. King to believing he was your son's father, but you are here to prove you made a mistake.
Yes, Your Honor.
You know who Kevon's dad is, and it isn't Mr. King. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. King, you stated that you're tired of being played.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain to the court, please.
It's like, Your Honor, when she wants something, she calls me and needs me.
That can hurt like crazy. Men don't like to be used, but some women, like Ms. Holmes here, know exactly how to use them, and they do. Whenever she wants something for the baby, he's the father. And when she doesn't need him any longer, he stops being the father. And Ms. Holmes doesn't deny that she is playing both sides of the fence.
Are you playing both sides of the fence, Ms. Holmes?
Yes. That was.
Well, let's
like,
go ahead and be honest then.
I just want Kevon to have what he needs. And when I'm having a hard time and I need something, I know King's gonna give it to me. And it's like, when we arguing, I feel some type of way, because it's like he throws things in my face, like, oh, you know you were sleeping with me and him at the same time.
That is right. That is exactly what she is. She does not even care about knowing what the actual father of the child is. What will she tell the boy when he grows up and asks who his daddy is? So who is actually the father? Here is how Ms. Holmes puts it.
I was stuck in between them two. Like, once upon a time, me and King, we was high school sweethearts. You know, we started sneaking around on the low. Like, we would skip school, we'd text each other during class and be like, let's meet at the staircase, you know.
Sexual things at the staircase in high school?
Yes.
No, Your Honor, that's not true. See, can I tell you what happened?
Please do.
All right, so like she said before, yes, we'd text him and meet at the staircase, but it was nothing, probably just like a little dance.
A twerk during school hours? Well, at least we know what happens when you ask for a twerk at the staircase during school hours. Your chances of ending up at paternity court just increases like crazy. So what happened after that?
Because I left. Like, I left Texas because at the time I was with the other guy and me and him broke up. So I hit King up. I'm like, it's been a minute since I seen you. Let me come to Texas and, you know, let's meet up. He was like, sure. So, you know, I go to Texas, we get in the hotel, you know, we having sex like 4 or 5 times a day. And
wait a minute, what happened to let's just meet and go to lunch or go to the movies? I mean, you say you're gonna go to Texas and you just immediately get a hotel room?
Yeah, there has probably never been more obvious candidates for paternity court than these two. Not a date, not a hangout, not even just making out, just right to the hotel to do what you want to do, and it gets worse.
So you didn't even say we gonna go on a date, nothing. Y'all just go to a hotel and start having sex 4 and 5 times a day?
No, we went to dinner. I mean, I'm not that cheap.
Your Honor, that is not true. We did not once go out. Like she said, like you said, we went straight to the hotel room and she wanted to get it on. I was like, okay, I was in the mood for it anyway. You know, hormones are raising.
The hormones were what?
Raising.
They were raising,
yes,
not raging.
You got it on for 3 days straight? And without protection? That is exactly how you make a baby. There is probably no bigger baby-making move than that. And remember, Ms. Holmes still had a boyfriend while she was doing all of this.
So, Ms. Holmes, you went back home and got back with your boyfriend immediately?
It wasn't immediately, but it's like when I touched down, he hit me up. He was like, hey, we need to talk. So, you know, I meet up with him. We meet at our favorite restaurant and we talk it out. And he's like, I miss you. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why we took a break. So I fell for it.
What I want to know for the purposes of this hearing.
And that, ladies and gents, is how you get a huge paternity question and have to come in Judge Lauren Lake's court. She got intimate with both of them within the span of a week without protection. Initially, Ms. Holmes just wanted to stay with her boyfriend, but then something happened.
She actually called me out of nowhere, out of the blue. And she called me, hey, you got a baby on the way. I'm like, what do you mean? We haven't talked, and clearly you gotta be back with your boyfriend. So how am I the father? Quit lying.
You thought she was lying?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is interesting. So when you initially call him, Ms. Holmes, what do you say?
I said, there's no way I'm lying because my conception date is the 28th. And that's exactly when me and you was mostly intimate.
So she has 2 different conception dates for 2 different guys. So even Miss Holmes does not know who the father of her child is. That is the stickiest place to be in as a mother. But at least it is just one of two guys, right?
That you had sex with both men unprotected 2 days apart.
So when we was having sex, me and Mr. King, I would never let him, I was a track star.
What does that mean?
She kept running nonstop.
Like run around the room, track star.
Why are you running around the room?
Because I wasn't expecting that to be the size, okay? When we was talking.
Wait, what? This is crazy. Again, there have never been a duo more destined for the paternity court than this two. So Ms. Holmes insists that Mr. King isn't the father because she didn't let him finish too many times? Really? That is it?
You delivered the baby, Miss Holmes, by yourself?
Yes, like the other guy, he had me thinking that we would be a family and—
Oh, the other guy did?
Yeah.
So was the other guy believing that he was the father at the time you gave birth?
No, actually, he got him a new girlfriend.
Now let us get to the truth. This two have had their fun and shown the world what not to do to end up on paternity court. It is time for them to get their answers. Who is the father, Mr. King or someone else?
Mr. King, you are not the father. I know that wasn't the answer you wanted, Mr. King. I'm sorry. And Miss Holmes, I know that was hard for you to hear. I can see the tears in your eyes, Mr. King. You really wanted it to be a different result.
Yes, Your Honor.
What are you feeling in this moment, Miss Holmes?
A lot of regret.
Ms. Marsh says that Mr. Reed denies her children only when she does not allow him to sleep with her. That is psychotic, but Mr. Reed says it is all a lie, and Ms. Marsh once told him that the child isn't his. Here is how that case starts out.
You claim that Miss Marsh has confessed to you that you may not be Tamari's biological father, and you believe she's trying to trap you into a relationship with her. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Marsh, are you using baby Tamari to trap Mr. Reed?
Mr. Reed knows me and him are...
So let's get this straight. Mr. Reed met Ms. Marsh when she was just 18, and they got into a long-distance relationship that turned intimate down the line. But Mr. Reed didn't like that Ms. Marsh already had 2 kids before him, so he did not want an actual relationship. Ms. Marsh, on the other hand, says that sounds like a load of rubbish.
That was before she had the other. That was before she had her other child.
Why did he, my granddaughter's third or fourth birthday,
He did my
your whole
daughter's
birthday, the shopping,
everything.
the birthday party,
Spent $1,000 on toys, and then spent another $1,000 on her birthday
what
party.
man does that?
Me? Oh, Mr. Reed says he's a trick for real. He isn't even trying to deny spending all of that money just for a crumb of what Ms. Marsh was offering. Good on you, man. But the bad news is that you don't have to be in a relationship to be a father, so that does not actually matter. Let's see what else they have to say.
In your mind, was this a relationship? Or were you...
She knew I was dating other women.
I never knew he was dating other women. On Torrance's birthday, he asked me to go on a trip with him to a resort with his family. When we get to Missouri, 2 women pop up at the hotel room, and he said, "This is my wife."
Your Honor,
and I said, "It's over."
Your Honor, on the way to the...
What?
Your Honor, on the way...
Hold on now.
I told her I would take her to meet my wife.
4 wives in this economy? Okay. I don't know about you, but that sounds really brave. Wait, is that even legal? Is that something we can actually do? Like people can just get married to 4 wives? This is one crazy case, and it is about to get worse.
I've never heard of a man taking a woman on vacation to meet their wife.
Exactly, exactly. And then when we got there, Your Honor, the girl, they was asking me, like, how do you know him? I'm like, how do you know him? She just met him.
The wife?
Yes.
She was a prospect.
He's
just
a
like
prospect.
Danielle was. I'm upset because her and the other person ruined my birthday. They ruined my birthday.
The guts on this man. He took his lady on vacation, invited another lady he'd never met, and told them they were going to be his wives. And he has the nerves to say they ruined his birthday? Really? And this happened just 1 month into the relationship. Now, it gets even worse.
In your mind, was this your boyfriend?
Yeah, in my mind, it was my boyfriend.
No.
We've been talking about being with each other. We've been talking about being with each other since I was 18.
Because she got upset at me because I was down there 2 weeks before I even seen her.
He telling me he loved me and all kinds of stuff. He want to get married. I didn't know nothing about him wanting 4 wives.
Really? My mother addressed her. She's like Miss Marsh. My son told you. You knew my son was wanted 4 wives.
I told his mother. No, Your Honor, I told his when his mom said
my
that.
mother's a Baptist.
Oh, that is a world of difference then. We have all got Mr. Reed wrong, folks. His mom isn't actually a Christian, she is a Baptist. And as we all know, Baptists don't believe in Jesus, right? No, wrong. Mr. Reed has no idea what he is talking about, and he is about to talk himself into even more trouble.
We were downtown talking, and his mom was like, I thought he told you that he wanted 4 wives. I said, no, your son didn't tell me, he tricked me. So it's a difference. I didn't know about no other wives until I got to St. Louis.
How could I trick a grown one?
You can see that Ms. Marsh really loves Mr. Reed, but you can similarly see that he doesn't care about her at all. To him, she is just one more prospect for his 4-wife mega plan, and once she does not fit into that plan, he just wants to discard her. Here is what happened when she found out she would be having his baby.
Then we went to the pregnancy center, we got an ultrasound, and then later on, he had left to go console a girl in California that was having a miscarriage.
You knew this?
I knew afterwards.
She knew the young lady was down there in Columbus, Ohio, when I was down.
Actually, no, I didn't know. Okay, so me and him continued our relationship from...
Oh, okay. We can all see what is going on here. Mr. Reed is an old dude looking to prey on this young woman and telling her all these fantastic lies. And guess what? It is working. It is working a little bit too well.
About what I'm doing, but she have numerous men. Yes, you do.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Come
you
on
do.
now, come on now.
Man.
Don't do that,
Really?
baby. Don't
Really?
do that, baby.
You didn't have a dude when you didn't have a man when I came?
No, wait, what I don't understand is the baby's just a year old.
Exactly.
You saying you met him when you was 18?
Yeah.
So you've been running around with this, dealing with this for all these years?
No, Your Honor,
I didn't know it was like this.
I never stayed in Ohio.
Hold up, but Mr. Reed already said they were not in a relationship. So which is it? Was there a relationship or was there not a relationship? Because we need to clear that up. Anyway, let's get to the paternity question.
You accept during that time that she was carrying your child?
Yes, I accepted it, but I wasn't for sure it was mine.
He don't want responsibilities.
Don't take, like this, only time I don't take care of her when we're not together.
You don't take care of a child
First
only
of all,
if they're
we're
with
not
the
even
mother.
sure that the child is mine. I'm just doing the job. I'm just doing.
This is so messed up. At this point, you kind of hope that Mr. Reed isn't this baby's daddy because he does not look or sound like the sort of fellow you would be proud to say is your dad. Anyway, it is time to find out if he is the father or not.
Mr. Reed, you are not the father.
Well, now I feel like the goofy. I done went through all this, and
that's why you
all
got
the time
put in
all the time I'm believing she knew this. I done flew all the way down here to look like a goofy, and you should feel.
But no, listen, hold on, Mr. Reed, hold on.
My name.
Hold on now.
Ms. Herman is hellbent on getting to the bottom of the line that Mr. Houston is the biological father of her 2-year-old son, but Mr. Herman says Ms. Herman is just making things up as he's not the biological father of her son. So who's lying? We need to find out.
You are here to prove that Mr. Houston is the biological father of your 2-year-old son, Corey. You contend the defendant duped you and was living a double life. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Houston, you claim that you are not the biological father of Ms. Herman's son and will clear your name when the results are read. Is that correct? Explain.
A liar, cheater, and womanizer, all in one sentence and all directed to one man? Now that's wild. Mr. Houston standing there and unable to defend himself only means one thing, and we all know what that is. Let's dig deeper like Ms. Herman the Investigadget.
What made your woman's intuition kick in?
So during the time I was pregnant, I had told Mr. Houston that I was pregnant. He said that he would be there for me and my child. After 2 doctor's appointments, he stopped showing up. So I got a little suspicious. So I got my investigation glasses on, and I found out via Facebook.
A wedding ring can still be overlooked because divorces are a thing, but 5 children? Those 5 children aren't going nowhere. To top it all off, Mr. Houston kept that a secret from Ms. Herman, and now that's a big deal. Mr. Houston might be a liar for real after all. But let's hear what the man has to say for himself.
Mr. Houston, you never informed her of these very important details?
When I met her as a gentleman. Before anything, before my father, before my dad, before my liar, before my cheater, before any of these things at all. I'm a man first.
Well, you over here doing a Shakespearean play. Tell me what happened. How is it you end up getting this woman pregnant?
Mr. Houston making his family seem like the ones on the sidelines sums it all up. Oh yeah, he's a cheater too, for sure. Leaving 5 kids and their mother at home to go lay with another woman without protection is a different type of betrayal to his legally married wife and even Ms. Herman.
Listen, how did you meet Mr. Houston?
I met him at a club. He was very charming and appealing at the time, buying me shots of Patron. You know, that's an expensive drink. He also had a truck with rims on it and with nice, you know, nice beats in it. So at the young age that I am, I'm thinking like, you know, I'm young and naive. I'm thinking like, he's got it going on.
When did you two become intimate? That same night?
Ms. Herman, the investigadget, thought she would see a stiletto somewhere under the bed. Little did she know, Mr. Houston knows his coin real good, and he was lucky enough to have a friend who has a place to run situations like that. Again, another name Ms. Herman gave him sticks. He's a womanizer.
Did your wife have any idea you were leaving the house at 2 in the morning and sleeping with another woman?
See, the thing is this, we were already on the verge of going through a divorce. Things wasn't what she expected it to be.
Look at his eyebrows.
Maybe you didn't understand my question. Did your wife know you left the house to go sleep with another woman?
No, she did not.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Mr. Houston wants to play this out as an emotional trauma? Trust Judge Lauren to still do justice to this one, even if Mr. Houston continues his Shakespeare character, having 5 kids and still needs other children to keep seeing his dad's features? Again, this man is a liar.
End of the day, you do have to understand that when you bring children into the world with paternity questions, that's not being a superhero. That's not being the kind of father.
Speak on it, Judge. That's not being a superhero, Mr. Houston. Everyone knows Mr. Houston just loves the pleasure he's getting, but his pleasure has consequences. And now he's a father of many children.
I met her at the club. I took her home that night. I had no intentions on getting her pregnant.
But you did not use protection, did you?
I didn't know this woman from
He's lying.
I didn't know her
He
from
did not
Timbuktu.
use protection.
Young Gunner, I didn't know this woman. I didn't know her
He
at
must
all.
be talking about one of the other girls, because it wasn't me.
Kicking every day. I wanted something else. It had nothing to do with my wife.
Taking a minute to feel pity for Mr. Houston's ex-wife because neither Mr. Houston or Ms. Herman will. That woman is watching the man that is supposed to be her husband trading words about using a latex or not. Oh Lord, have mercy. No one should have to go through that, but unfortunately, that woman married a man like Mr. Houston who is making her go through it.
One night, me laying in her bed, her phone vibrating in the bed. Now, mind you, it's 2 a.m. Who is this text messages coming through 2 a.m.? You know what she said? Don't worry about it.
On my life.
You know what I did when she told me don't worry about it? Because I gave her my time. I left my home to come check on her, you know.
It's a privilege for her.
You did. Thank you.
It actually was
that
a
you
privilege.
left your wife. I'm second choice. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It wasn't second choice.
Back to the argument of who really is the baby's biological father. Mr. Houston believes Ms. Herman has been handling her business outside, and that baby can't be his. Ms. Herman said she would be happy if he's not the baby's father. Okay, we can just skip to the part we've all been waiting for.
Mr. Houston, you are not the father.
Yes. Thank you, Jesus. I ain't gotta talk to this man not no more.
So you just did all this?
I don't want to hear nothing else you got to say. I'm
cool,
free.
You know?
Yep.
Miss Herman, I asked you,
who came to the
was there any other man?
When we were sleeping together, we were sleeping together. I slept with somebody prior.
I'm a little tight right now.
Ms. Caples won't allow Mr. Harris to walk all over her and deny her son. Ms. Caples is certain Mr. Harris is the biological father of her 15-month-old baby, and he and his girlfriend better get ready to start being responsible for her child. Mr. Harris and his girlfriend are on the other side of the rope, so what is it going to be? Let's see.
You say you are 100% certain that the defendant is your 15-month-old son, Jason's biological father, and today he's going to put his name on the dotted line right in front of his girlfriend. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris, you and your girlfriend say there is no way you are Jason's father, and once the results are revealed...
Okay, there was no relationship. It was just a pleasurable thing to both parties. That's cool, but now there's a baby in the mix. So how are these grown-ups that were enjoying the activity that resulted in baby Jason's production going to handle this? That's the problem Judge Lauren is trying to solve right now. But first, who's the father?
The details.
Me and Mr. Harris started talking. We used to go to high school together.
I didn't go to high school with her.
And we were Facebook friends.
That's
Mr. Harris, I made him my man crush Monday. He's a good guy, hardworking, good father. We messaged back and forth on Facebook for a while. After that, we exchanged numbers.
At least Mr. Harris was honest with his girlfriend before hopping into the relationship. However, Ms. Caples doesn't really care about that. She's here to prove Mr. Harris is the father, but she was seeing another man too. So it gets tricky from here, but Ms. Caples says she has evidence to prove her case. Let's hope it's what she's saying.
As you can see, my son Jason was born January 9th, 2016.
Okay.
Me and Mr. Harris were intimate for 9 months, all the way up until May, the beginning of May.
No.
September, we started talking around September, Mr. Harris. Anyways, like I said, all the way up until the beginning of May.
Ms. Mayfield is out here in court fighting for her man like she didn't know there was the possibility of him having a child. Ms. Caples' evidence seems to check out. But hey, what did Mr. Harris mean that he didn't know the real name of the woman he was digging down for a while? Crazy things really do happen behind closed doors.
This court, and I want to ask her a question. Mr. Harris just testified to the fact he didn't even know Ms. Caples' name. Is that true?
When we contacted Mr. Harris and told him that Ms. Shatera Caples summoned him for a DNA test, he said, I don't know who you're talking about. I said, Muffin?
That is correct.
The fact that Mr. Harris didn't know Ms. Caples' name is just ridiculous. However, Mr. Harris is doubting he's the father of the baby because a friend of Ms. Caples said so? Oh wait, he said Ms. Caples said she met with another man. This is a spider web we need to get out of really fast.
Because there was no commitment.
No.
There's no marriage. There's no nothing. So it's easy to blame Ms. Caples, but you also have to look at your man. Because he participated.
We wasn't my man at the time.
It doesn't matter. It's your man now.
I was actually there in the beginning, like buying Pampers and clothes and stuff. But like I said, Ms. Caples.
Ms. Mayfield is acting like her man is a righteous fellow again. No, he isn't. That man was continuously having sexual relationship with a woman he didn't even know what her real name was. That isn't a sign of a good man, Ms. Mayfield.
The hospital to see the baby. Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not.
Because you did not want to, or you were not even asked?
Well, I wasn't asked, and I had my doubts. I had been had my doubts.
So you didn't ask him to sign the birth certificate, Ms. Caples, and why is that if you knew he was the child's biological father?
He wasn't even there for the birth.
I mean,
we did. So what? Were you at work when she went into labor? Probably, but you were at the hospital.
Everybody around town? Yeah, that may be true that the child is for another man, but Mr. Harris, not being at the hospital because of work is a baseless excuse if we will be for real. Mr. Harris can just say he didn't want to be there because he didn't believe he's the father of the baby.
Time he never showed, you were angry, and so then you didn't
I wouldn't care. I wasn't worried about that. Him signing the birth certificate at that point. You want to act like you ain't the daddy? We can.
But
act
you
like
are
that.
here today saying now he has to sign it in front of his girlfriend.
He's gonna sign it in front of his
today.
girlfriend.
I don't know if I'm here or not. What is that?
But my point is this: if it didn't, hold on.
Ms. Caples' anger took the better part of her, but she now wants to correct that in open court. Mr. Harris doesn't agree with Ms. Caples that he's the biological father. Interestingly, Mr. Harris's girlfriend is also right beside claiming the child doesn't belong to her man. This is a tough one.
Is 15 months old. How many times have you seen him?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
She won't let me see him.
Your Honor,
Let him be around.
She won't let me
Yes,
see him.
his family member sees him all the time.
His
His family member sees him all the time, and we'll go over there and go see him. She don't know that, but she.
seen him
Oh no,
quite
I don't want
a
Alexis
bit,
around him.
yeah.
For what?
Why would I
never
want you
even
around
spoke
him?
two
You're
words
staying in
to
my
her.
hospital room. No, I don't want you around.
These three grown-ups wouldn't even let anyone understand what they are saying because no one would shut up for the other person to speak. And what is it about these two women already having a feud outside the man situation? Getting tubes tied and working in the hospital? Okay, let's wrap this up. We need the result right now.
Mr. Harris, you are not the father.
You didn't sleep with no one else.
Ms.
I
Caples.
would like to publicly apologize to Mr. Harris. I honestly thought that it was yours. We messed around. We were intimate a lot, and you know we were. It was a very big possibility that it was yours. So I apologize from the heart, sincerely. I'm sorry about that. I really am.
I accept.
Ms. Butts and her mother are in court to prove Mr. Richardson is the biological father of her son, Quartier. And Mr. Richardson is also side by side in court with his mother to prove Ms. Butts is lying about the paternity of the child. Okay, it's a battle of the mothers and their children messing around.
You say you and Mr. Richardson had a brief but passionate relationship that led to the birth of your son, Quartier. You and your mother contend Mr. Butts originally accepted and embraced your son, but has since become an elusive deadbeat who refuses to acknowledge paternity.
$2 and a cigarette? We must be missing something here. That's all it takes for Miss Butts to get undressed? That can't be true. But wait, if it's true, Mr. Richardson also felt it was right to have sexual relations with a woman who collects $5 and 3 cigarettes from the next dude? Maybe both of them are a good match. And we won't forget the mama's boy comment, to be fair. Coming here with his mama does justice to that, but that applies to Ms. Butts too, though.
You're saying, Ms. Butts, your child needs a father.
Yeah, of course.
Quatier is 3 years old. Beautiful little boy.
Awesome, amazing.
And how many times has Mr. Richardson seen?
Three times. When he was a month old, he was outside. He met me outside. Oh, he my son. He looked just like me. The whole 9 months he was his. The whole 9 months.
I never said he looked like me. I never said he looked like me.
Oh, Mom, your grandson here. Your grandson here. She came outside. She ain't hold him. She just looked at him. Oh, he's cute.
Mr. Richardson says he wants to inspect the baby. Now that's real funny. Inspect the baby. That child isn't a car somebody should have told Mr. Richardson. If Mr. Richardson wanted to be sure about that baby's paternity, a DNA is the only way to do that. Not checking his toes or skin tone.
Let's move on. So the bottom line is you really said, I want to inspect this child.
Looking for a place to stay. That's all you want. You're just looking for a place to stay. I come back, you would have never do. That's the father.
You say you saw the baby 9 months ago, and you did that purposefully because you wanted to inspect the baby, and you mean it.
Right.
Take the clothes off, see, does it have my features, my attributes? Does it look like my family?
Okay, we misjudged Mr. Richardson. He did want a DNA test. But at the same time, Ms. Butts said he wasn't ready to pay for it. Oops. You can't want a DNA test done and not want to pay for it, Mr. Richardson. That factor works better when there's money to make it happen.
I want to go back to the pregnancy now. When you found out you were pregnant, Ms. Butts, did you inform Mr. Richardson?
I called Mr. Richardson February 14th, 2013. He was with his cousin. I texted him, wanted to spend time with him for Valentine's Day. He ignored me. So I texted him, was like, that's all right, I'll spend time with my unborn baby. He called, was like, what? And I was like, I'm pregnant. He was excited. Oh yeah, she pregnant. She pregnant. The whole 9 months he was his.
Mr. Richardson had a rough past, noted. But this man is saying Ms. Butts was already with another dude by the time he was done serving his time behind bars. This puzzle keeps getting worse. From Ms. Butts getting naked for $2 and a cigarette to another person being in the picture after the pregnancy. Oh well.
Condoms every time, Your Honor, first of all.
Lies.
First and foremost. We use condoms every time.
He did say he would say that.
Then
lies. The first time we did it, he held the condom between his index finger and his thumb.
What you're saying is he had the protection with him, but you all did not use it.
He ain't use it. He opened it, but he ain't use it. He was holding it the whole time.
Okay. And so when you gave birth, what happened? Did you let him know? Was he there?
He wasn't there, not at all.
So who are we going to believe? Mr. Richardson says Ms. Butts is lying through her teeth and vice versa. Such a shame. Anyway, Mr. Richardson is here to tell the court the only reason Ms. Butt left the father's namespace on the birth certificate blank is because she doesn't know who the father is. That's an interesting fact from Mr. Richardson. Let's see what's up.
When a woman doesn't know who the father is, doesn't she leave the birth certificate blank?
And so this is a sample of the birth certificate, and you say when a woman doesn't know who the father is, you leave the father's name blank.
In this case, she knows who the father is. It's not my name. It's not my name.
So you're saying she put another man on the birth certificate?
Exactly.
Yep, the one that supported me my whole pregnancy. The one that manned up and did his job.
Because that's not my baby. Because that's not my baby.
Did his job.
Oh, wow. That's indeed an interesting point. We can all see where Mr. Richardson is coming from. Maybe he has a point. However, Miss Butts says that was just the man that was there for her, while the baby's supposed biological father was behind bars. Another interesting point.
Putting that other man's name on the birth certificate, he is now the legal father under the law. But you're asserting that Mr. Richardson is the biological father.
How you saying?
So you've already added that name. Under the law, that's the man that's responsible for child support. That's the man that has the legal right to see him. Listen, legally under the law, that would be the man who'd be responsible to take care of the child.
And he did.
And that's the person that the state would collect child support in support of the child.
Ms. Butt's story is emotional, but putting another man on that birth certificate is a whole new level. The birth certificate could have been empty instead of that. But since the other man was happy to do it, guess he's ready to take up the responsibility, and according to Ms. Butt, he's been more responsible than the supposed actual father.
You don't have to be in his life. That's an amazing child. Like, he will bring a whole lot of joy to your life. You got a bad day, he knows how to bring you up.
And so, listen, does he remind you in ways of Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
He does?
Yeah.
You say that with?
Yeah, the nasty attitude. I don't have arched eyebrows.
Looks nothing like me.
Alright.
Doesn't.
Anthony has.
So you say you feel like he has his personality?
Nasty attitude may not be a reason Mr. Richardson is the father, though, but some things are hereditary too. Anyway, we need to know if Mr. Richardson is the biological father of Courtier or not. So let's see this result.
Mr. Richardson, you are the father.
Sorry! Sorry! Anything we got to have that. Look at my okay. Oh, you need my glasses, sir? That's his twin.
Ms. Wolf is here to save her relationship with her fiancé, Mr. Cottle, and that can only happen if Mr. Cottle is the biological father of her 3-month-old child. It's a twisted situation because that 3-month-old may or may not have a family, depending on the result of the DNA test.
You're in court claiming revenge sex has now put your relationship in jeopardy with the defendant. You say the only way to save the family you were hoping to build is to prove to your fiancé that he fathered your 3-month-old son, Zane. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cottle, you say you're not a doctor, but when a woman is having sex with more than one man at the same time, the odds are against you.
Yeah, right. That revenge sex story is still a little bit off, though. Ms. Wolf just explained she was having a relationship with 2 men at the same time, and they both knew. It's not funny, but Ms. Wolf seems to see it as a funny thing. So it's better we hear from Mr. Cottle.
So, Mr. Cottle, tell me what's going on in this relationship. Is the relationship on the line for you?
It is when it comes to Zane, and when the fact that he's not mine. I work 24/7. I not only just work night shift, I actually wake up to go back to work, to go lump another truck, to make the extra money, to be able to buy the diapers, the wipes.
So in your estimation, you are supporting Zane?
In a very typical kind of way, yes.
Mr. Cottle seems to be doing the best he can because according to his explanation, he has been working non-stop to be able to provide the little he can for the baby. But as it stands, he's having doubts about the paternity of the baby.
We met on a dating site, and I moved in with him about a week after meeting him. And 2 weeks in our relationship, I invited my friend to come hang out with me. And while I was sleeping, I woke up and I went to the bedroom door, and the door was locked. So I kept pounding on the door for them to open it, and I saw my friend's underwear on the floor. So right then and there, I knew that they had sex, and then I asked them. It was like, yeah, we did have sex, I'm sorry.
Oh, Miss Wolf got her heart broken, and that type of revenge is the best thing she and Andrew could think of. That's fine too. It would have been fine if a child was not in the picture, but little 3-month-old Zane is here, and now it's a mess for real.
Mr. Chittum, thank you for joining us today. You were in a relationship with Ms. Wolf first,
That is correct, Your Honor.
and you started a sexual relationship,
Yes, Your Honor.
and you all were living together.
That is correct.
And then she said she invited her friend to come, and you and the friend slept together.
That is correct.
So now how do you find out that Miss Wolf was then intimate with your friend, Mr. Cottle?
It's even hard to know who the victim or the villain is in this story. Mr. Chittum was a cheat, same as Ms. Wolf and Mr. Cottle? Oh well, let's say maybe he betrayed his friend's trust by sleeping with his friend's girl. Everyone here is claiming to be the victims while they are all villains in different ways.
Also interesting is the court uncovered a couple of Facebook photos. Now, this is you, Ms. Wolf, kissing Mr. Chittum.
Yes, sir.
And on the bottom of that screen, which you can't see, you were a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then we uncovered this photo. This is you and Mr. Cottle in pretty much the exact same pose.
Miss Wolf was happily two-timing these 2 men. As she said, she loves those 2 teams. Let's assume she was talking about the sports teams and the men supporting them. However, Mr. Chittum thinks he's impotent, huh? What does he mean other women have tried with him and failed? This is interesting.
Did your sexual relationship with Ms. Wolf end once she found out she was pregnant?
No, Your Honor.
So you continued to have sex with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Until when?
3 weeks before Zane was born.
That's not true, Your Honor.
It's not true because he is a pathological liar. He likes to lie about everything.
Mr. Chittum, is this why you agreed to submit to a polygraph test?
Seems Mr. Chittum isn't been a pathological liar about the fact that he and Ms. Wolf were still having sexual relations. It looks like Ms. Wolf is hiding something, and now Judge Lauren needs to do some real questioning.
Wait a minute.
I wasn't dating Andrew until I was about 3 months along, Your Honor.
So you're testifying that you were sleeping with him during the pregnancy?
Yes.
But when you started being with Mr. Cottle, you stopped sleeping with Mr. Chittum?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It was actually January of this year is whenever we stopped having relationships.
Ms. Wolf may want to start revealing the truth herself before Mr. Chittum's evidence will do justice to that. Mr. Cottle is there looking like he's going through the worst time of his life. Well, this may really be the worst time of his life.
Mr. Chittum, you have that phone now?
I do, Your
Let
Honor.
me see it. So this message was from approximately 3 weeks ago, 3 to 4 weeks ago. Wow, are you joking me? He does nothing for you? God, he got me so angry. And then the next line is, come blank me.
Just because
and it
I
doesn't,
said that does not mean it happened.
It doesn't say talk, but it says come blank me.
The pathological liar here is Ms. Wolfe. Mr. Cottle needs to let that woman go. And what did Judge Lauren say about crying wolf? Oh, that's really perfect because Ms. Wolfe is just spitting out gibberish. At this point, we need to know who the biological father of the 3-month-old baby really is.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Cottle. You are the biological father. And so where do we go from here?
Mr. Reed has been constantly doubting the paternity of baby Lucas, and for that reason, his relationship with Ms. Whittier is so rocky. Maybe this couple being in Judge Lauren's courtroom will help them move forward with their relationship. Let's find out.
You say that you are sure Mr. Reed is the father of your 22-month-old son, Lucas, but the defendant's paternity doubts have led to constant fighting and tension in your relationship. You desperately hope to prove he is the father to save your family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reed, you believe it is medically impossible that you are Lucas's father.
Oops. That is the wrongest thing anyone can say to end an argument. What was Ms. Whittier thinking? That would forever ring a bell in any man's head. Ms. Whittier made a mess and she regrets it, so only the DNA test result could steer the relationship boat in the right direction again.
How did your relationship begin?
He tried to save my toddler that he thought was drowning. He didn't realize she could swim.
Oh, that's cute. Good reflexes, Mr. Reed.
It was a baby and she was adorable, cute little stubby thing running around the pool in a little swimmer diaper.
Aw, that's so cute. Such an adorable and fairy tale kind of story. Nothing should have gone wrong in this type of relationship except for regular fights that all couples have. However, sometimes those regular fights seem to be tougher than the others.
He moved in mid-September, and we found out we were pregnant the first week in November.
I was terrified.
You were?
I mean, outright terrified.
Yeah,
I didn't know what I was gonna do. I mean, name me one parent that does know what they're doing, first time. That's what my mom said.
Did you have any doubt during that time that the child was yours?
No, not at the time of the pregnancy, I didn't know.
Okay.
That was truly disgusting. The ex in question was just trying to scatter something he couldn't have, and that meant one thing: he was still hung up on Ms. Whittier. Now the story that is straight out of a book started to crumble. You wouldn't blame Mr. Reed. No man likes any other man sending rated stuff like that to their woman, even if it's an ex.
Did you believe it was the ex and Ms. Whittier in the video?
I think that's what he thought, and I
didn't
tried.
see who it was. I didn't see no faces or nothing.
I tried to tell him that's not me.
I believe that it's a possibility that could be her. I mean,
And your point is why are you sending this video unless it's you and her?
yeah, why would he do it?
Anyone would believe it's their woman if the faces aren't showing, so again, we can't blame Mr. Reed. This couple's story is beautiful, and if anyone should be blamed here, it will be the exes in the story.
The baby, even with your doubts.
He was there for a lot of it, but then the same ex come back. Well, look at your family. Your family doesn't have these health problems. They don't have these medical problems, and these are, only inherited things. Well, that's not entirely true,
So, Mr. Reed, you were there on the day Lucas was born?
The emotional roller coaster of this couple doesn't seem like it will stop. Mr. Reed loves that baby with all his heart, and seeing Ms. Whittier's expression, she seems to love that man right there in the stand to death. Those exes,
You on Lucas's birth certificate?
No, ma'am.
He's not.
That lady came in there and said, we cannot put his name on the birth certificate since she is still technically married, and she is.
Oh.
Yeah.
We left that fact out.
Oh, there's a husband? This should have been established since the beginning of the story. That's not a problem except for the part that Ms. Whittier hasn't been in contact with that husband and she's been unable to get a divorce. So, no legal father for baby Lucas yet.
On its surface, when they first told me, I laughed because I didn't realize how serious it was. We all hear the word albino. Nobody actually thinks about what it means. And suddenly you realize it doesn't just mean that he's pale and blonde and blue-eyed. It means that his skin can't take sunlight.
The only huge doubt I had is the albino. That was a physical proof.
Yeah, anyone would doubt that, Mr. Reed. most especially if there's no albino in the parent's immediate family.
And this court wants to understand, is albinism passed genetically?
Albinism is passed genetically from the parents to the child, but depending on which gene is affected, depends on whether both parents or one parent passes it.
Oh.
Normally, the albinism trait is recessive.
That's a good touch of medical explanation, but that's not helping to clear Mr. Reed's doubts. And again, no one can blame that man. So it's just better we get to the result to either clear Mr. Reed's doubt or forget about our fairy tale.
Mr. Reed, you are the father. I can see how relieved you are.
I'm shaking. I'm shaking, man. This is the happiest day of my life. Aside from him being born, this is the happiest day of my life.
Oh, it is some wild drama right from the start today. Ms. Brown has dragged her husband, Mr. Shenoster, to court, claiming he's the father of her 6-month-old daughter. But hold on. Mr. Shenoster not only denies paternity, but also has the nerve to deny that they're even married. This man is out here trying to rewrite the entire story, and Ms. Brown is not having it.
And he will lie and say that we wasn't, but we were.
Right.
He lies about everything, Your Honor.
Who married us?
Can I talk?
Can I see the paperwork?
Can I talk? What paperwork? I ripped it up.
Was the email?
I ripped it up. I'm not talking. Where were you? Where were you when I got married? Where were you? You wasn't around exactly. So when were you when I conceived my daughter?
Mr. Shenoster comes in with the confidence of someone who thinks he's about to get away with something. He claims that he's never been married to Ms. Brown and throws her under the bus, questioning whether the baby is even his. But Ms. Brown is ready to prove her case. This is more than just about the baby. It's about her dignity, too.
What I need to know is, how did you marry him if he already had a wife?
Because he didn't have a wife. How did married
Me
to
and
me
Ms.
at the
Douglas was
time?
together, but we were not married. We were separated.
Take me to the beginning of your relationship with Mr. Shenoster. I want to understand it.
We met through a mutual friend, which we basically had a long distance type of relationship. We talked on the phone, we Facebooked, all of that.
Is something funny, Mr. Shenoster? Look at him go mocking this woman. Some people have their preferences and choose to not sleep around with everyone they meet, okay? Ms. Brown isn't here to play. You can just see the frustration building as she lays everything out.
Met him in person?
Yes.
How did you get married if you've never seen him?
Over the phone.
So you marry over the phone, which means you commit yourself to one another.
Yes.
Then to be clear, this is not a legal marriage like we think about through the state, where you go to the. It's not that. It's a marriage within the religion.
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, Mr. Shenoster pulls out the classic defense, claiming there's no way they were married, and he is not the father. But does he have any real proof to back that up? Now we're back to accusations and deflections. Meanwhile, Ms. Brown is rolling her eyes like, here we go again with the lies.
I never met her a day in my life.
Oh,
when I walked in, she said, here's your Abu. When I walked in, the kid's like, hey, Abu, hey, Abu. She continues to walk straight to the back of the house. 2 minutes later, she comes out of the back. She no longer looks like a Muslim. She has on a little shirt and some tights on, and she's walking up the aisle, hiking them up like this, so I can see her private parts.
Oh my goodness, what is going on in court today? This case went from a total flatline to a wild hike. She did what? In front of who? When? What was the reason behind everything? Now, we cannot be sure if this man is lying or he is telling the truth.
Your Honor, I did consider marriage.
Friends told me.
I did consider marriage with this young lady, right? But when I seen that, the only thing I could think about doing was going to get a bottle of Henny because it was on and popping now. That's it.
Now can I talk?
There wasn't nothing else going on. I was not going to marry her.
You look like a man anyway. Shut up.
This man is out here painting the craziest pictures in this courtroom. What is all of this about jiggling? Now, does this mean that they were together or not? Did both of you end up having sex or not, Mr. Shenoster? You claim you haven't seen this woman in your entire life, and that's fair? But let's solve this paternity case, please.
Had sex with her.
Yes, yes, I did. I did have unprotected sex with her.
And it was unprotected.
Yes, unprotected.
So
Unprotected sex.
Would you have unprotected sex with a
Yeah, probably a dog is a dog, ain't it?
I've got half a
You're
bottle.
married to him, honey. So what you saying? So what you saying? Your Honor, when he came to my house, he came out. He came out.
Let's get some order.
Just look at these two women. Ms. Brown isn't backing down. She's adamant that Mr. Shenoster is lying and needs to step up. We can't be so sure anymore about who is lying and who isn't at this point. One thing we can be sure of is that the results will bail us all out of confusion jail.
How soon after you ended the relationship with Mr. Shenoster were you intimate with somebody else?
6 weeks after.
6 weeks after. And how soon after that did you find out you were pregnant?
When I found out I was pregnant, I was 6 weeks and 3 days. I had sex with another man 3 days before I found out I was pregnant.
And so when you found that out, did you immediately call Mr. Shenoster?
Yes.
Oh, he said, congratulations? Isn't that something? Well, a potential congratulations to you as well, Mr. Shenoster. As the judge starts questioning the timeline and facts, it looks like Mr. Shenoster's confidence is starting to waver. Judge Lake really needs to wipe that silly smile off his face.
The other man that's in question was, if you recall earlier when I said I pulled up in the cab, that's one of the men that was on the step.
No, he wasn't.
When I left that Sunday, he was in the area. He was basically going in the house while I was coming out, leaving to go back to Philadelphia.
I didn't even meet him then.
Oh yes, now things are finally picking up nicely. Ms. Douglas is having a hard time staying by her lying, cheating husband and just had to be excused. It's wild information that this woman stood by him figuratively and literally too, through all of this. How do you come with your husband to court for a paternity case involving another woman?
He's seen Blessing.
Never seen her in person, never touched her, never kissed her, nothing. He treat my daughter like she's nothing, like she's the scum underneath her shoe. He wished
You know why I've never
he
seen
wished
Yana?
death on my
You know why
child,
I've
called
never
her
seen
ugly.
What? What?
And then he wondered why when I finally talked to him, I have the hatred I have towards him. Because if you want to keep it between me, let's go there. I'm grown. I can handle that.
Would you look at that? This man is so disrespectful. One can only wish Ms. Douglas were here to listen to everything that her prized husband said about a baby he is the potential father of. What a guy. It's something to even say that about any child, Mr. Shenoster. But a baby that may be yours? Whoa.
Why are you thanking me? Laugh out loud. Mr. Shenoster says, for carrying my child. Thank you.
And again, he lies about everything.
No, Yana.
Mr. Shenoster?
Yana, I did entertain the thought of the baby being mine.
Entertain the thought?
I did entertain it.
This man, Mr. Shenoster, can't be serious right now. He cannot be for real. What do you mean after all of the jabs you threw at this woman in court for apparently sleeping around, and here you are now in her messages, acting this way, saying I love you and whatnot? This day is getting long as it is. Let's get to the results.
Mr. Shenoster, you are the father. That's your baby. That's a beautiful little girl. She deserves her daddy. Not somebody standing up talking about, she ain't mine, she ain't this. Innocent babies don't deserve that.
Oh, here we go. Mr. Wallace waltzes in with his girlfriend to break the news to his wife. Yep, you heard that right, that he's not the father of her baby, but Ms. Austin, his wife, is ready to prove him wrong, and she's demanding he finally step up and act like a real father. What a showdown.
Today is your last visit to this courtroom. Let's take a look at what happened the last time you all were here.
I thought Rael got himself together.
In addition, you have another child with Ms. Austin.
The kids, I love my kids dearly, but I shouldn't have
You
got
just
married.
don't love their mothers.
The craziest part is that Mr. Wallace is quite the frequent flyer on paternity court. This isn't just his first or even second visit, it's his third time around. And, believe it or not, he's back with a whole new set of women, still trying to settle the same old issues. What a piece of work.
So grow up not having no father in their life.
She is a whore.
Mr. Wallace, you're not gonna address a woman in this courtroom that way. You better pipe yourself down. Get out of the courtroom, Mr. Wallace.
I never had anybody to show me how to treat a woman or to be a man, or I just need help on.
Can you believe it? This guy actually got engaged, had a baby with his fiancée, and still found time for another girlfriend. What a character. But today, Mr. Wallace is in court to prove he's not the father of little Ronald.
Since the last time we was here, everything started out okay, but we all knew that wasn't gonna last long. Rael Wallace was still bouncing back from me and Kendrelyn. I had enrolled in school, but I never did go because I had got pregnant once again with Ronell. And she got pregnant with her baby, with her son. And as you can see now, once again, I'm pregnant again.
Talk about a plot twist. Miss Austin drops the bombshell that she's here to test the paternity of Ronald. But guess what? She's pregnant with her third child by Mr. Wallace. Meanwhile, this guy's been bouncing between two women, and his current girlfriend is pregnant too. How does someone even juggle all that?
First of all, I don't know if it's because you're nervous, Miss Austin, which, look, I wouldn't blame you if you were, but it's not funny. I keep seeing a smirk on your face. You know
it's
when
sad. Cause it's sad that I'm back here again.
You're disgusted with yourself that you're back here.
Yeah, for the same reason.
I can see behind your eyes the hurt. And the baby could potentially be yours?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Wallace. The craziest part is that they're all in court together. If he's clearly juggling relationships with these two women, why on earth does he even question whether baby Ronald is his? It's completely baffling.
Because she's very promiscuous. When we was together, I had installed, it was like spyware on her phone. It's what they would duplicate her text messages and call log and send a copy to my email. And again, for about the 5th, 6th time, I called her texting different men.
Well, where your proof at?
You saying that didn't happen?
Where your proof at? I never saw it.
Wow, we've got a spy over here. Mr. Wallace went as far as installing spyware on his fiance's phone and caught her texting people? I mean, isn't that what phones are for? And seriously, when did he even find the TLMQQ to all this? While he had another girlfriend, was sleeping with her, and fathering her kids. Unbelievable.
Miss Austin, were you sleeping with these men?
No. Lie detector me, please, right now.
How is you can't just be involved with all these different men without doing
Oh, I'm not you, just because you lay down with everybody who you talk to. Because that's what you do.
You and the Lord know you a slut.
No, you're
Hold on.
You're a slut. You're a
Mr.
slut.
Wallace,
You're a
you
slut.
remember from the
You're a
last time
slut.
you were here,
We
are going to speak to women respectfully in the courtroom. You can express yourself.
This man is really pushing her buttons. He's the one blatantly sleeping around, making babies with other women, and not even trying to cover his tracks. Yet, he has no real proof that Ms. Austin cheated. Just some harmless text. And let's be honest, if she had done anything wrong, you know Mr. Wallace would have dragged it into court without hesitation.
So
Why
now,
do you keep allowing me to sleep?
I'm gonna keep on just because I know that you with her. She's
So,
allowed.
I don't have nothing to do with that.
Yes,
And if you
you
can
do.
sleep with somebody else,
Yes,
man,
you
then
do.
you got low
You- I know you're not
self-esteem.
talking.
Ladies,
I know you was
you guys want to hear the case?
let's get some order. Let's get some order.
Dang, that escalated quickly. They didn't just get angry, they are absolutely furious and are taking it all out on each other. And meanwhile, the man at the center of it all looks like he is thoroughly enjoying the show. Unbelievable.
That I made.
Actually, Raniel left his apartment and he moved with Kendrelyn.
Just out of the blue, he woke up and said, I'm
Exactly.
going
I
to move with
didn't
Miss Roberts
just
now?
go with
No.
her.
So what happened?
You were being promiscuous, and I'm not gonna tolerate that.
So basically, Mr. Wallace, you can sleep around, but your women can't.
Okay, so just answer the question, Mr. Wallace. It's like he thinks he's completely untouchable. He cheats left and right without a care, but the moment one of his poor women, bless their hearts, has even a harmless chat with another guy, he's ready to call it quits. The double standard is wild.
Well, I need to walk out.
Raniel, don't walk out again. You can stand up here. Do not repeat the same mistake as last time. Stand up here, get your composure, get composure.
I knock that gun
Stop
out
it.
your head.
No, you won't.
Mr. Wallace.
You sitting up here, you taking hugs
Come
that.
on.
You ain't even let me get a word in.
Stand up.
Emotions are definitely running high for everyone in that courtroom. Honestly, I'm feeling a bit emotional myself watching all this unfold. Before we get sidetracked by more drama, let's get to the results already.
Mr. Wallace, you are Ronell's father. I want to get you all some.
Ms. Stembridge slept with her boyfriend's best friend and roommate. At least, this is Mr. Buchanan's argument today in court, and they did it while he was locked up too. Ms. Stembridge adds that he has trust issues with respect to women, so he does not trust her anymore, but she promises him that the baby is his.
That's why I'm sleeping with your girl while you locked up.
Okay, that wasn't exactly the news you wanted to hear, right?
Not really, no. And who wants to hear that? You know what I'm saying? All right, and I'm gonna take that serious. You know, I'm a serious kind of guy, you know? I expect people to be upfront with me, okay?
Okay, so this man trusted her to some extent, at least. Now, what exactly is wrong? What went wrong between the two? How did we get from this phase up until where you do not trust your girlfriend with your own best friend? To top it all off, you find yourself in paternity court over this drama.
While I was locked up, which is breaking the brother code, all right? You don't drink, I don't care if it's a supermodel. You ain't drinking with somebody that's supposed to be my best friend, you know, you had the right to say no.
Whoa, so all the responsibility is on her now. All the blame is placed on Ms. Stembridge. It's understandable because she is the one in the relationship, not the best friend. Regardless of all of this, saying that he doesn't blame Eric for anything is quite interesting, because whatever happened to bro code?
I was cool with that. I threw that out the window, all right? Cool. You had a few beers, I can understand. Your nerves are bad, that's cool, I understand that, all right? But then, check this out, all right?
Check it out, I'm checking.
She kind of picked me up. All right? We get home, or we on the way home, and I'm looking at them, they both nervous.
Oh, now we're getting to it. He finds out that they have been drinking some more and he did not hear about it. Looks like he thought that it was simply a one-time thing. But wait a minute, if these two left the drinks lying around so casually, does that not mean they have nothing to hide?
In your mind, you thought she's drinking with him again, and she said that was only a one-time thing.
Okay, check it out. She told me about the beer, so when you picked me up, why didn't you fair warn me about the liquor before I got home? Why are you gonna let me find out by myself? Because you forgot.
I didn't forget too much. It was still there, weren't it? I didn't forget too much.
Looks like this man was really hurt by those lemon drops. He really said that if she's drinking some lemon drops with him, he doesn't need to hear that Ms. Stembridge is drinking those lemon drops with another man, especially after figuring out how wild she gets after drinking said lemon drops.
You're basically saying that these lemon drops are an aphrodisiac for your girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't need her to be drinking lemon drops with anybody but you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I need to check my girl? Why I need to check my girl? Nah, you need to check your girl. She was laid up in your best friend's bed while you were locked up, laid up there sideways in some booty shorts and a spaghetti strap.
What?
Whoops, what a duo, these two. Now he's telling us about how short her shorts were while he was not there. Also, she was lying down in the same bed in the same room in the same house that three of them share. Really, Mr. Buchanan? Are you really going on like this?
Did I witness when I walked in? When I walked in, all I saw was in the air.
Okay,
No,
let's
on
use
his bed, the
better
head of
language in
his
the court.
bed.
Let's
I'm
use
sorry.
better language in the court. You walked in and saw what?
Booty in the air. At the head of his bed.
Whoa, okay, Mr. Buchanan. Miss Stembridge is looking at this woman with eyes that scream. Look what the cat dragged in. If you're going to be in court today telling us about how much you love and appreciate your ex, maybe we should take a short drive to couples court right after this. How come both of you are so chummy and have each other's backs till now?
Yes, but look what
Under
I've
my
had to
care.
deal with. You talking about moving with her? Go move with her. You want her that
Move
bad.
with her? What are you talking
That's
about? I
what
never
she
said
just
that.
said. That's what she just said. While I was pregnant, you were trying to move with her. Ain't that what you said?
Yeah, he was gonna come get away from your crabby for a little while.
Crabby?
All right, Miss
Okay.
McNeil.
Yeah, so I can have a job to take care of you.
Let's get some order.
So these two women definitely will not survive being left alone in a small room for 2 minutes. What is the problem here? How do we get to the bottom and very beginning of their fight? Mr. Buchanan is definitely going to have to just pick a side, because they cannot keep living like this. Phew.
But as long as you have Ms. McNeil in your ear, you all going back and forth, and these two fighting against one another, it's ridiculous. And if you all are arguing over lemon drops, that's unacceptable. That is irrelevant right now.
Would you take a look at that? He's such a good father to the baby girl, and he wants her so bad. Now, is that his biological daughter or not? Has Miss Stembridge really been sleeping around, or has she not? We can only hope not, but we'll be sure when we see the results.
Mr. Buchanan, you are her father.
Thank you.
That's a blessing.
Not enough lemon, y'all. Not enough lemon.
Thank you.
They ran out of lemon.
Thank you.
They ran out of lemon, or you already...
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
obvious that you're happy and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
pleased.
Yeah, I love that baby to death. I'm glad she's mine. She got a good father.
Yeah.
Mr. Butler's wife is calling out the baby mama, saying there's no way that's her husband's kid. Meanwhile, Mr. Butler fires back, claiming Ms. Moore is just stirring up drama and lying about the baby being his, all because she wants him back. What a mess.
Ms. Moore, has Mr. Butler been involved in your child's life in any way?
If you're talking about diapers and wipes, that's it. That's not a father to me at all, period.
Only diapers and wipes?
That's it.
All right, so look, let's talk about why we're here. Mr. Butler, you obviously have doubts.
Yes, Your Honor.
What are those doubts?
She told me I'm not the baby daddy.
Oh, please, Mr. Butler, are you really sure she's after you? This doesn't exactly scream, I want you back. And now we've got harassment claims too? Typical. Protective wives rushing to defend their silent husbands who conveniently have nothing to say for themselves. Here we go again.
I was getting my hair done at one particular time when she was on the phone. He had her on speaker. And she told him, "You're not the dad. You don't have to do nothing for this baby."
Harassment. You're right.
You heard it
You're
yourself.
right.
I heard it
firsthand.
myself. Not only
She
that,
did hear
these
it.
texts right here.
She
Your Honor.
did hear
What is
it.
it? Jerome, will you pass me that evidence, please?
Whoops, Mr. Butler, I have to ask. Are you really sure this woman wants you back? Or does she even want anything to do with you at all? Because from the looks of it, someone else might already be stepping into those shoes you left behind. Just saying.
Excuse me, correction. I was 7.5 weeks, December 11th.
Okay, but you would not have had your baby. You would have not have had your baby.
But did
in
I have
July.
sex with you?
No.
Did I have sex with you?
No, you
You're
didn't.
not a man. You're not a man. You're not a man. I
You
had
had
sex
sex
with
with
you.
him,
And you
but
know
I've been
damn well
messing
that's
with
your
him for
baby,
almost
period,
2
point
years.
blank.
Well, all right then. Ms. Butler is really working Ms. Moore's last nerve. And why is it always the women at each other's throats in court? Meanwhile, Mr. Butler is standing there, speechless, like the cat's got his tongue, not a peep from him. Of course, Ms. Butler is out here defending her cheating husband like it's a full-time job.
Court, why you believe that's true?
Because if you told him in December that you were pregnant, your baby would have been born in September, because my daughter is September 22nd.
And so
She needs to learn her math. Go back to school.
And
That's
so
what
hold
you
on,
need to
Ms.
do.
Moore.
Go back to
Ms. Moore.
school.
Really?
Moore.
Oh no, she didn't. Ms. Moore just threw it right in Ms. Butler's face that her husband is a no-good, trifling cheater. Not only was he stepping out on his wife and making babies, but he was also cheating on Ms. Moore too. Honestly, this man deserves an award for cheating. He's breaking records out here.
When Quincy come with bags, he thinks he's about to stay. He's a leech. He is a leech, and his so-called wife told me that over the phone. It's always, if I call Quincy, it's always her.
Because
And I
I'm
feel
his
like
wife and
I
it's
don't
one,
care.
one, one,
But that doesn't make sense though. I'm his baby mother, and I have to talk to him.
Oh, wow. What a catch. He's everything anyone could ever want, right? I mean, I might just want him myself. A whole good-for-nothing man, cheating left and right, popping out babies everywhere, and all while living off supplemental security income. What a hot commodity. Everybody's lining up for this prize, aren't they?
When you first found out you were pregnant, Miss Moore,
Correct.
did you tell Mr. Butler? Did he
No.
accept
No, no,
the
no,
fact?
No, I didn't tell him.
You did.
My mother told
Mother
him.
told me.
Okay.
I heard her
I want
mother
to talk
did.
to your mother.
I
Ma'am,
said
please
that.
stand. Please state your name for the court.
Katrina got her.
Thank you so much for joining us. So, you told Mr. Butler that your daughter was pregnant.
I called him and I said, you know, my daughter is pregnant. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, she's pregnant. And he says, well, I'm gonna be there for her. I'm gonna take care of her. I'm gonna take care of the baby.
I'm starting to think Mr. Butler has no clue what it means to actually show up for a pregnant woman. Forget about being there when the baby arrives. Aside from one doctor's appointment and tossing over some baby wipes and diapers, this man brought absolutely nothing to the table. And let's be real, he didn't even bother to show up.
Mr. Butler, do you remember having this conversation with
No,
Miss?
I didn't. No,
You
I
never did?
No.
So, what facts, evidence, knowledge do you have that Ms. Moore was sleeping with anybody else but you at the time?
Another dude. That's all I can say.
Who is the other guy?
Another dude.
While me and Mr. Butler was in the midst of our relationship,
Ms. Moore really went through the ringer, especially during labor. Can you even imagine going through that all alone, knowing full well that once it's over, there's no father around to share the load? That's another level of strength right there.
Is it true that you decided you'd maybe go and stay at Ms. Moore's house with Zamar? Were you gonna go over there?
tell the truth, you're on dog.
Yeah.
So you did, and you thought, and was it because you felt like this was your daughter?
Yes, I did.
You did.
Damn, so Mr. Butler can actually do more than grunt and flash that creepy smile? Who knew he could speak? Isn't that a plot twist? And after all this exhausting drama, we finally made it to the moment of truth. Let's get to those results and see how this wraps up.
Mr. Butler,
Yes, ma'am.
you are her father.
Now, I'm done.
Thank you. You completed everything today.
You're very welcome, sir.
You feel better?
Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Now you can start being a dad.
When she was born on down, this is yours.
Today, there are two moms in court, and they are not too fond of one another. Ms. Jackson is the potential grandmother, and Ms. Pickins, the mother of the baby. Mr. Jackson won't be showing up in court today because he is currently incarcerated. Ms. Jackson went on to say that Ms. Pickins slept with multiple men. Now, let's hear the case.
Now, you say she's a liar and had sex with multiple men at the time of conception. Now, Ms. Pickins, you admit to sleeping with at least 2 other men while involved with Ms. Jackson's son. You argue Ms. Jackson initially accepted your daughter with open arms, but now has turned on you both.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Well. 1 point to Ms. Pickins for honesty. It takes a whole lot to be honest about sleeping with 3 different men on live TV. Now it's harder to tell who is lying about what and who isn't. Why would Ms. Jackson originally accept the baby with open arms, only to now say that her son would be a fool to think that the baby is his?
Ms. Jackson, why did you initially accept the baby if you had doubts?
Your Honor, I never accepted the baby. That's a lie. I stated from day one, I do not believe this is my granddaughter. She first, if I can bring you into my reality.
I want to go in. Tell me what happened.
Okay, she came to my home with her mother and another family member. Let me remind you, this child was already 4 months old.
The case hasn't even started and these women are at each other's throats. What a dramatic day that must have been. Imagine not knowing anything about a baby or a baby mama and having both of them pulling up to your front door calling you Nana. What a cold shock. The baby has been existing for the past 4 months too. What a ride we're on today.
But
that would be biologically the answer. It was one of the guys you were sleeping with.
Yeah, he pursued
How
me.
many guys were you sleeping with?
2.
She don't know. She don't know. She
when
don't
I met
know.
him, I had a boyfriend.
Exactly.
Me and the boy stopped.
So she also said
Me
she
and the
was a
boy
cheater.
stopped.
Hold on.
Me
Now,
and the
Ms.
boy-
Jackson, let her speak.
I'm sorry.
When you met her son,
Yes.
you had a boyfriend.
Yes.
So somehow you get
Yes.
into a relationship with Ms. Jackson's son.
Yes.
Now Ms. Pickins cannot get a word in. And wait a bloody second. Did she just imply that she was having unprotected sex with Ms. Jackson's son every single day, alongside 2 other men as well? Whoa, Ms. Pickins, okay. Another point for honesty. Even Batman would never get that sort of information out of me.
So when you say he pursued you, you meant when you had this baby, Ms. Jackson's son called you and said, that's my baby.
Yes. And she looked just like him.
And you felt like there's a
Yes.
resemblance, she looks like him, and he's saying, this is my baby.
Yes.
So
he ain't never denied it. If he did, he denied her around them.
Your Honor, I will agree.
So you think they look alike?
Yes, they do.
So the whole semblance card is at play again. But this time, Ms. Jackson says that it's so absurd and pointless because her son looks more like Ms. Pickins' brother even more than he looks like his own mother. So fair enough. The semblance card has been thrown off the table.
Jackson actually expressed interest and established a relationship
Never.
Yes.
with the baby.
Yes. Can I say?
I never
Hey,
had
1 second, ma'am.
I never established a relationship with this child. We got text messages that will even sit up here and say I never established a relationship. That child been to my house 3 times. If that's the case, Your Honor.
Phew. Someone finally said it? What? Were these 2 women warriors on opposing sides in their past lives? The enmity is crazy with these 2. They just keep bickering non-stop. Questions go by unanswered and deflected, and the whole court keeps becoming more and more like a chaotic bowl of soup.
So you're saying the first part of your doubt is you don't feel like the baby looks like your son.
Exactly.
Okay,
No
and
grandmother
next,
connection.
you don't have a grandmother connection.
No.
What, meaning when you look at the baby, you
I
don't
do
have
not.
that feeling
exactly.
that
This is my grandchild. I have 2 grandchildren that I love dearly and take very good care of them.
Wow, she faked a pregnancy in the past? What a wild thing to do. Also, Ms. Jackson has 2 grandchildren as it is, and her son, the hot commodity that appears to be moving around town a little too fast, is incarcerated? Wow, okay. For someone with 2 grandchildren already, you seem to have a little too much trust in your son, ma'am.
Okay, and why you are certain that your grandchild was fathered by Ms. Jackson's son?
To me, she looked just like hair, eyes. She does looks like this little boy done lived with me for about a month because his mother put him out.
Exactly. When
He didn't have nowhere to go. But I had a picture of Kevin, her, his little brother, and his dad, and they all look the same way.
Okay, Ms. Dates, noted. You also think that the semblance card is a strong enough point to bring up in paternity court. You'll be so shocked, you won't see it coming one bit. In the middle of all of this, Ms. Jackson is barely letting Ms. Dates' sentences come out in one piece.
Paired by DNA diagnostics, when it comes to 1-year-old baby
Shazia Pickins. Mrs. Jackson, you are not her grandmother.
Would you take a look at these women? What did Ms. Manning have to throw that for? Now, we're throwing shoes and papers around at each other in court. What a bunch of women. Who knows what would have happened if Jerome were not present and ready to defend?
Got you. Hold on. Thank you, God. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Why did she just came to with that thing? I need order.
He is caught in the middle of two fiery moms in court today. On one side, there's his mother, Ms. McBirth, who is fed up with her son, Mr. Hughes, having so many kids. That's why she's denying his potential grandchild and insisting on a paternity test. What a wild situation.
This woman is trouble. She is trouble with a capital T. She, as a matter of fact, I call her the 3 T's. Trash, trouble, and trifling. That's what she is. The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family.
Wow, what a woman. She actually brought a picture of the father and baby to court, claiming they don't look anything alike. Meanwhile, the ex-girlfriend is firing back, insisting that Ms. McBirth is just in denial and projecting her own feelings onto the baby's paternity. What a showdown.
So why do you think she's in so much doubt over your child?
I have no idea, to be honest. Like, maybe because he is so white?
Because he all the white. He ain't got no black in here. Everything I see got powder puff on it. I don't see no chocolate nowhere, okay?
Ms. McBirth, that was an incredibly racist comment. Does she not realize how unpredictable genetics can be? To say something like that in court is shocking. Sure, she might be frustrated with her son having kids left and right, but that's no excuse to be cruel to his baby mama. Uncalled for.
Okay, so a little over a year. Were you in a committed relationship?
I thought we was.
You did, okay. And was he the only person you were intimate with during that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Now she knows she lying. She
She
lying.
Yes, ma'am.
This DNA right here.
And now we've got 3 wild women in court. Where did all this come from? Who is this lady? And why is she meddling in Ms. Jackson's business? If Ms. Jackson says she was in a committed relationship with Mr. Hughes, then just let her be. This is getting out of hand.
And all she has done is she's been trying to put the baby on us.
Force it. Yeah, you have. Don't sit up and act like you have it.
But the thing about her
She's trying to push that baby on. That ain't mine. I didn't sleep with her. That child is not ours.
When you say she's trying to push the baby on you, what do you mean?
She wants me to acknowledge that child is my son.
Whoa, hold up. Look how this woman is ready to go head-to-head with Judge Lake. So many things are wrong with everything Ms. McBirth just said. First, his real children? She was taking her son's real children to the hospital? How many kids does this man have? From how many women, too? And what, is he mute?
I'm sick of all these little hookers trying to say my son is the daddy. I'm sick of it. I get babies dropped off here, dropped off there. I'm sick of it.
But
it stops today. Because that baby is not my son.
Here's the thing that she does.
It is.
Here's the
sorry.
That's a lie.
No,
that's
it's
a lie.
not.
That's a lie.
First of all, she's a liar because you just had a wild sex party that got shut down by the police station last week.
A sex party? And the police showed up. What on earth? But seriously, where was the baby during all this chaos? And someone needs to let Ms. McBirth know that her days of picking up babies aren't ending anytime soon. Her very mute son already has a small army of kids. She better get used to it.
Miss McBirth, I have to ask you, you're very tough on Miss Jackson. Do you have anything to say about your son's behavior?
My son has, I know exactly what type of person he is. He just as trifling as she is. He's a handsome guy. He's my son. And I know what he do. But he's still, no matter what he do, he's still gonna be my son.
You know Judge Lake isn't about to sit there and let these crazy moms run the show. She's up, asking all the right questions. Meanwhile, Ms. McBirth's son has been silent this whole time. No clue if he's even claiming the child. And now Ms. McBirth has the nerve to say that seeing her son be loving to his own baby makes her want to throw up? Unreal.
Mr. Hughes, what is your side of this? Please stand, sir. Step up to the podium. Do you believe you are Elijah's father?
I just gave him the benefit of the doubt because I'm biracial. My father's white, so.
Wait, she married a white man? After all the racist comments, she still has the nerve to be like that about her potential grandchild? And considering her own family history is biracial, there's even more reason the baby could look white. Ms. McBirth is just proving how unreasonable she really is. After all the non-stop bickering, it's finally time to hear the results.
Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
What did you do?
Hey, calm
He
down.
probably
Who can't get rid of
somebody
Satan
you
to save our lives?
trash. I'm through. I know that's a damn lie.